Godzilla. To myself and many Western audiences, Godzilla is known to be associated with its kooky kids films of the 1960s and early 1970s. However, the original meaning behind the giant dinosaur is much darker. The original debut of the 1954 classic was heavily influenced by the horrible destruction that Japan faced in the wake of the atomic bombings. Back then, this movie was considered a horror film since the events that inspired such a terrifying beast were still very present in the minds of the audience watching the film. Flash forward to 2016 Shin Godzilla. This film brought Godzilla back to the forefront of Japanese culture on a level that had not been seen since his 1954 debut, but after all this time I wondered why this could be. What hidden themes gripped the Japanese and the world so heavily after decades of Godzilla films, and how did the directors express their feelings through this film? Shin Godzilla is a disaster movie that follows humanity as it struggles to contain the apocalyptic threat that is Godzilla. It's a film that forced the nation of Japan to face difficult parts of their past yet again by bringing the monster back into the horror genre and using it as an allegory for a terrible triple disaster. Back in 2011, Japan endured one of the worst triple disasters in recorded history when a tsunami caused by an earthquake made the perfect storm for a nuclear meltdown at a power plant in the Fukushima prefecture. The government had made poorly prepared evacuation and treatment plans for the calamity, which left over 100,000 people dead or without homes. At the time of Shin Godzilla's release, the Japanese government had determined that enough radiation had died down in the area and reopened the Fukushima prefecture. This is a huge part of why in 2016 the film grew to be the second best-selling movie in Japan. The directors made clear statements throughout the film about how they felt about the Japanese government response to this disaster, through the sluggish meeting scenes that took place, as the gradually worsening scenes of destruction that the monster left in its wake also left little for the audience's imagination as the movie progressed. The feeling of hopelessness that's present throughout the film only adds to the terror of the realization that Godzilla was a creature of mankind's hubris. The state of agony that the monster appears to be in as it's forced to uncontrollably evolve can be read as a message of caution as humans abuse the natural order, alluding to the idea that nature will eventually find ways to evolve and adjust with or without humanity. Even the film's score contains a beautifully somber song about finding the light in a world heavy with darkness and loss. The ending of the movie, which outwardly projects the message of hope for rebuilding Japan, also carries this eerie double meaning as we see the monster's terrifying fifth form, which leaves the audience with the realization that we are more like this monster than it seems.